y'all, spiritual whistleblower here. We're getting close to the new year. How's everybody doing? I'm doing fabulous. It's Sunday and I'm in the park. I really enjoy sitting in the park and watching nature. It's so peaceful and calming. So I have a few video ideals, and I'm keeping it on the topic of toxic family, narcissistic family. So I want to address in this video, I have like 3 hot topics this morning. I want to talk about your siblings. This video is for somebody struggling to cut off their sibling. Whether that sibling is your brother or your sister, I'm going to explain to you why you have to cut off your siblings. You have to sever ties. You have to end the relationship permanently. I know it's painful. I know you struggle with this, but you have to understand that your siblings hate you. You don't understand. Your siblings have been groomed and trained since birth to be your enemy. And the programming, the toxic programming that your parents have done to your siblings, that programming is so deep, is so embedded in the brain. The way that their brains are wired, they're never going to break free from it. They're not. So in my case, I have a brother and a sister. I have no relationship with either of my siblings. Does it make me sad on certain days? It does make me sad because we all could be so close and tight-knit. We could be loving each other and having family gatherings of our own with our children. But that is impossible because both of my parents are narcissists. And when you have a narcissistic parent, they do this thing amongst their children called triangulation. And this is a lifelong thing. They've been doing this since y'all were little children, playing y'all against each other, playing favorites. So in my case, I'm going to tell y'all how my mother and father triangulated my siblings against me. With my mother, she triangulated my sister against me and my brother. She played favorites. My sister is her favorite and always has been. This has been since birth. And she had no problem rubbing it in me and my brother's face, making us feel small, making us feel insignificant in comparison to my sister. I can recall a time, my sister, I believe she has ADHD. She absolutely behaves like it. I remember a time my sister was like 7 years old and she would just tear her bedroom up. And I now know that's a sign of ADHD. People with ADHD, even adults with ADHD, they could have a spotless room and then completely destroy the room. There'll be clothes and stuff everywhere because that's how their brain is wired to mess up their bedroom. So my sister would have, this actually happened. There was a time where she messed up her bedroom. It was super junky, clothes and toys everywhere. My mother would not make her clean it up. We were in high school at the time. She was in middle school, so she might have been like 11 or 12 at the time. I forget. We were in South Carolina. This happened in South Carolina. There's so many things so many incidents of abuse. I could be on here all day talking about it, but we're in South Carolina. We all had our own bedrooms. My sister tore her bedroom up. My mother would not make her clean up her room. My mother made me and my brother clean up her room. And if we talked back or had an issue, my mother would beat the fuck out of me and my brother. And I would always wonder, why does my sister get away with so much? Why do you favor her so much? Why do you put her on a pedestal and shit on me and my brother? At the time, I didn't understand, but now she was triangulating. Triangulation causes division amongst the children in a narcissistic household. And the reason why a narcissistic parent triangulates their children and pits them against each other, it's a control issue. If she can play her children against each other and keep them all insecure, they will compete with each other for her validation and her approval. So if she's playing favorites with my sister, she thinks it will make me and my brother want to fight for her approval, fight for her validation, fight for her love, fight for the same treatment as my baby sister. And this is the most toxic, unhealthy form of parenting. It is disgusting when I see parents do this. All of your children should be treated equally, not one better than the other. But my mother did this the entire time. She bullied the fuck out of me and my brother, and my sister was her baby. Her little crimpet that could do no fucking wrong. Her little crimpet who could escape accountability when she should be disciplined. I'll give y'all another example. This was back when her and my father were together and we were living out of motels, and I remember a Christmas. This is another form of triangulation. There was one Christmas where she called herself punishing me and my baby brother. There was a Christmas tree. Even though we were living in a motel, there was a Christmas tree. And all the toys under the tree were for my sister. Me and my brother did not get anything. We had to sit there and watch my sister open up her gifts. My mother was an evil fucking bitch. And see, she'll probably sit up and play dumb right now and act like she has amnesia. She doesn't remember. I remember everything, honey. And so does my brother. If I called my brother right now, we would run down an entire long list, honey. A long list of abusive incidents. Evil ass shit that this bitch has done to us. The bitch is a demon in a dress. She can play like she don't recall or don't remember half the shit. Your children don't forget, honey. Your children have kept score of every evil fucking thing you've done. And yes, there was a time during Christmas, we were living out the motel, and my mother punished me and my brother by not buying us any gifts. Everything under the tree was for my baby sister. We had to sit there and watch my sister enjoy her gifts, open up her gifts, and have a wonderful Christmas. And we got nothing. Evil fucking bitch. That is a form of triangulation, making us feel insignificant in comparison to my sister. And what that does, it's about control. It makes my mother feel in control to divide her children up and play them against each other, to make one feel better than the other and make the other children. That's how you build insecurities in your children, by the way. That's how you break your children's self-esteem. And then when they grow up and become adults and you sit back and watch them get in one abusive relationship with one person, that's because you have set the bar very low. Our parents are our first bullies. Your mama, if she's verbally abusing you and making your siblings feel special and playing favorites and making you feel insignificant, she is destroying your self-esteem, and she is creating insecurities in you at a very young age. She's setting you up to fail in life. So when you become an adult, you'll tolerate poor treatment from abusive people. All that starts in childhood. And I blame my fucking mother and father for the triangulation. The triangulation does not stop in childhood. It continues into adulthood. But let me just finish this. It's about control, making your children compete for your validation, making your children compete for your love, keeping them divided up, gossiping about all of them behind their backs to one another. Really demonic. See, Satan is the author of confusion. If you read the Bible, Satan uses triangulation all the time to divide and conquer people. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, 33, I believe. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 1 Corinthians chapter 14, 33. For God is not the author of confusion. Our Father above wants us always to walk in peace, to have clarity. God does not operate out of confusion. The devil does. The devil uses confusion to divide people up as a means to control. And this is what we call triangulation. Triangulation is in the Bible. How many stories of triangulation are in the Bible? Cain and Abel is another one. What's sad is that the sibling that is the favorite grows up being a narcissist. Your mother and father will train their favorite child to be a narcissist. Your mother and father will train their favorite child to actually bully you and to play in your face, to have that, 1 minute your sister's in your face trying to be cool with you. Hey sis, let's go hang out. Let's go to the club. Let's go shopping. I love you, sis. Ma. But what she's really trying to do is get in your personal business so that she can have something to gossip about with your mother. My sister is a big mouth gossiping bitch because my mother taught her how to be a gossiper. They kiki, laugh, and gossip. They've been gossiping. They're both mean girls. They're mean-spirited, narcissistic bitches. And my sister knows I'm telling the fucking truth. She is a carbon copy duplicate of my mother. And my mother has triangulated all three of us since childhood. And it still continues. And that's why I have no relationship. The only way that you can put a stop to triangulation is to remove yourself out of the entire picture. So now your mother has nobody to fucking play you against. It's not fun when the victim removes themselves. It's no fun when the victim cuts the family off and will not participate in the games and is unaffected, will not allow you to further bully or manipulate. The triangulation is no longer fun when the victim removes themselves. And then they go to playing victim. Why can't we be a family again? Why can't you get over it? You need to forgive. The gaslighting starts up. Because it's not fun anymore. You're the scapegoat. You're the victim. Who are we going to bully? Who are we going to triangulate if you're not here? And you won't allow us. You set a boundary and you will not tolerate it anymore. It's not fun anymore. That's why your family is trying so hard to pull you back in. Now, with my brother, it's the same thing. My baby brother, who I've given endless chances to, he's so burnt from the damage of my mother. It took me a little longer to figure my baby brother out, but he's a misogynist. He's part of the MGTOW movement. If you don't know what MGTOW is, it's another red pillar movement. I feel he's a closeted misogynist. He tries not to be, but he is. I feel that he's abusive, has been towards his baby mother, even though I don't like her. I can't stand his fucking baby mother. I think she's a narcissist. But he's equally abusive and manipulative, always playing mental mind games and chess games. He's just as bad. And he learned that from my father. My father, too, has triangulated his children against each other. My father has a broken relationship with my sister, and he played me and my brother against my sister. And when my brother was not around and he was out of the country playing basketball, I became my daddy's favorite. I became his gossiping buddy, not realizing he was using me as a pawn and triangulating me against the women in my family. So both of my parents played this triangulation game, and it's sick. It makes me sick to my stomach. And that's why I refuse. You're not going to use me. Your children are all broken up during the holidays. We don't come around to visit either of our parents, or maybe it's just my sister now and my mother. Your children should be together, loving each other and supporting each other. But they're not, because the parents have done an amazing job of playing divide and conquer, messy gossiping, playing favoritism with this one and treating this one like shit. It's backfiring now, because now that your children are adults, you're seeing the results of your manipulation, your toxic parenting. You're seeing the results, and they are backfiring miserably in your face. Both my parents are guilty of this. But the sad thing about it is that your siblings refuse to cut your parents off. When your parents become old and gray, they're going to realize just how bad they fucked up their family. It doesn't hit them until they're really old. Then they start looking sad and remorseful, and they played this fucking victim. You destroyed your family single-handedly. Playing these fucking mental mind games, trying to get your children to compete. Because listen, the reason why your narcissistic parents even triangulate, they are deeply insecure, y'all. Your parents are extremely insecure. They're so insecure that they have to play these fucking manipulation games to get their children to beg for validation. Mommy, why won't you, support me? Mommy, I'm graduating college. Why won't you come to my college graduation? Mommy, it's like you're a dog chasing behind, they dangle a bone in your face and you're forever chasing this bone. Your parents are sick, bro. Insecure. And they got to play these games to get their children to chase for their love and their approval and validation. Unacceptable. Stop feeding into it. And then let me circle back to the topic of this video is your siblings hate you because your parents have taught them to hate you. And you cannot have a relationship with your siblings because they're two-faced. Messy and two-faced. My sister has stabbed me in the back too many times. When I thought I was confiding in her and building a strong, close relationship with her, she ran and told my mother everything. She cannot be trusted. We cannot, as much as I would like to have a close relationship with her, I can't. She can't be trusted. And she's under a demonic spell. Same thing with my brother. He cannot be trusted because he will not cut my father off. My father is a misogynist. My father is an abuser. He's a covert narcissist. My father, too, dwells on dividing up his children and playing them against each other, playing victim to the circumstances that he created. And this is why their children are all divided up. And because my brother is not strong enough to see things for what they are and to cut my father off permanently so that he can get the healing that he needs, because I do believe he's a closeted misogynist. My brother's a narcissist. My brother is extremely narcissistic. He's never going to heal until he cuts off my father. And another thing I don't like, my brother has allowed his children to be exposed to my mother, knowing my mother's an abuser. I have a big problem with that. He didn't fight hard enough. He didn't fight hard enough for the girls, allowing them to be around my mother. My mother is married to a pedophile. I feel real. That's why I kept my daughter away. I don't want my daughter around my mother or the pedophile. I feel my brother should have fought harder for his girls. At least joint custody so that he can sit them down and teach them about narcissism and go to therapy with them and teach them, this is how I was raised. My mother was abusive towards me and I don't want y'all growing up, falling victim to her teachings. He didn't fight hard enough. I'm sorry. So I can't have a relationship with either one of my siblings because they're under this spell of my parents. They have fallen victim to the triangulation. They both are very weak and they won't cut off my parents. They might have a falling out with mom and dad, but they always come back running to mom and dad. They always reconnect. I don't play that shit. Ain't no reconnecting, ain't no reconciliation. I will forgive them, but I don't fuck with them, and that's permanent. Both my parents will be dead and gone, and I will not be speaking to them. I will not be going to see them on their deathbed to say my final goodbyes. I will not be attending the funeral. It's done. Because when I look back and see just how demonic and wicked, they never really had an emotional or empathetic connection to their children. I believe my parents gave birth to us to control each other. That's what two narcissists in a marriage do. The children are just simply pawn pieces in their games, and they point fingers at each other. They don't take accountability, or they blame their children. If I didn't have children, I'd be successful right now. I'd be further in life. No, bitch, you chose. The children are innocent. How you gonna blame your kids for the choices you fucking made? So I stand on business with both my parents, and I don't play that with my siblings. If my siblings are too fucking dumb to see that they've been fucking mind fucked and manipulated their entire life by both of our parents, and they won't cut our parents off and get their asses diagnosed and in therapy, I can't fuck with them. I don't trust them. I don't trust them with my secrets. I don't trust to build a close relationship because in the back, they'll always stay connected to their first abusers, mommy and daddy. They're going to run their mouths to mommy. They're going to play in my face like they love me and they want to have a good relationship with me and bond with me as siblings. But they're always going to go back to the crime scene. They're going to go back to mommy and daddy Their first abuser, the first bully, the first abuser is mom and dad. Why won't you cut these toxic motherfuckers off and go somewhere and heal in a therapist chair? I've already been to the therapist, honey. I live in a therapist chair. I have my diagnosis. I have my paperwork. Yes, I have CPTSD from what they've done to me. But I'm healthy right now. I know y'all motherfuckers stalk me on my social media. You see how good I look. My skin's glowing. I'm out here living and vacationing and doing me, working on a 3rd degree, a doctorate. My child is grown. She still lives with me. We live peacefully. How is it that I'm doing so much better ever since I've cut my immediate family members off? They're still caught up in the dysfunction. They think they're not. They delude themselves that they're not. As long as mommy and daddy are able to fucking control you in some way, whether it's with money and gifts, that's financial control. My mother's good for buying gifts. The gifts don't come from the heart. The gifts always have a string attached. There's always some form of manipulation attached to it. I don't accept shit from her because it's not genuine. Long as my brother will not cut ties with my father, they're both caught in the matrix. And they can say whatever they want about me, but I'm woke. And when all this plays out in the end, both of them are going to fucking apologize to me. Because they're going to wake up realizing that they both have been manipulated since childhood. And they weren't strong enough to cut ties permanently to get the healing that they thoroughly need. They trying to control the situation. No, there's nothing to control. Just cut them the fuck off. Just cut them off. But you can't. Because mommy and daddy done groomed and trained you so well that you're enmeshed and fucking codependent on them. It is what it is, y'all. You can't have a relationship with your siblings. They're not trustworthy. They're two-faced and they're narcissistic because mom and dad have trained them that way. You never stood a chance from birth. All you can do is distance yourself. Listen, like I said, change your number. Your siblings will try to come around and check on you and act like they care. No, they're spying. They're spying, they're being nosy, and they're going to take all the information they gained from you back to mom and dad and have a whole fucking gossip session or group chat. They're on your social media screenshotting shit and holding conversations in the group chat, speculating about how they think you living. And you over here living peacefully, enjoying life, minding your fucking business. Your siblings are stuck. They don't like you. Don't take it personal, because when it plays out in the end, when mom and dad get old and your siblings got to be responsible for paying their medical bills and paying this and paying that and paying for the funeral, let that shit fall on your siblings' shoulders. They're going to apologize to you. You were the smart one that got out. And on that note, I got to go. Y'all have a blessed day. Let's have a conversation in the comment section because we have community here and we're here to help each other. And whether or not y'all believe it or not, your comments, sharing, giving your opinions and sharing stuff, it helps a lot of people. I am available for one-on-one coaching. Take advantage. I have a 50% discount for the holidays going on till December 31st. Once January 1st hits, I'm going back to my original prices. I will pin my email down below. Hit me up if you need to talk about family, relationships, whatever you're struggling with. Hit me up. Love you guys and Happy New Year.